They have to learn how to manipulate the man.
I cannot make myself cry on command.
Oh, I can.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I can.
I cannot. I have tried. I cannot.
I made my mom so angry because I started crying at Walmart because she wouldn't let me keep the shoebox. I got a pair of shoes.
All the fucking things.
I started crying.
How old were you? 6?
No, I was
25.
No, it wasn't last year. I was like 16 or 17.
Warning, the following show will spoil the hell out of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books and the TV show A Game of Thrones. Also, you're probably going to find a fuck ton of bad language. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Death and boobies, 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 death and boobies.
Welcome back to the Ironwood Network Book Club. I am your host, Maester Ironwood, and with me, as always, is Lady Wyvern and Widow Wolfsbane. Ladies, today we are discussing Arya 1, the first Arya chapter in A Game of Thrones. Are you excited?
I fucking am. I love this chapter.
I sure am. I love Arya.
All right, we've got Arya, we've got Jon, we've got making fun of Joffrey.
You got making fun of. Well,
we've got Tommen getting his ass kicked by Bran.
We got Sansa being a condescending cunt lady.
Yep, and Septa Mordain being a old gritty bitch.
Yep.
Well, you know, Sansa's 11.
So, well, Sansa's a bitch, and we hate her. So
yeah, she's a useless bitch.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, but
you know
it's
she's
okay.
A bitch?
She's an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah, and your sister was an 11-year-old girl and a bitch too a couple years ago.
I know she was, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, we used to say that all the time, and we told it to her face.
Sansa is a useless bitch.
And look what she's turned into.
Now she's just a sassy bitch. I'm so glad we could mold her into the right person.
But yeah, Sansa is a useless bitch. I think we can all agree on that.
Yes.
Sure, she's useless.
I would have put in there that she's really manipulative.
Well, yeah. She's an older sister.
No, but I mean, like, as in, she can control her person, her body in such a way that she can manipulate people. And it makes it easier for her to do so. Like, when a girl can cry on command, it's really manipulating to a guy because men don't like to see women cry. Mm-hmm. She can make herself blush on command.
That's true.
She made herself blush in this chapter. Which means we should probably get into the
she's a bitch. So who wants to give us a synopsis?
I will do the synopsis.
Excellent.
All right. So in our first Arya chapter, we're all hanging around doing some lovely stitching with some beautiful pictures and stuff like that, which I'd imagine this is more like the cross-stitching kind of thing where you're making patterns and stuff like that. Like they're not making dresses right now as their stitches. They're more like making like designs and stuff.
I would imagine so, yeah. I do love how it starts.
Yes.
That first line, because we don't really know that we're doing stitching for like sewing.
Yes.
And it just says Arya's stitches were crooked again.
Yes.
And I'm thinking like,
always. The
fuck did Arya cut? She got like some kind of slash from a knife or an arrow?
Yeah.
It's Arya. What the fuck's going on?
She can have stitches for anything because, I mean, even though Bran's more of the climber, she's much more of the roughhouseian type.
She probably sewed herself up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She just, like, sitting there fucking trench style, like, she's got, like, fucking gunpowder in there, and she's burning it and lighting it on fire, and then stitching it herself, and, like, using her teeth to, like, tie the knots off.
And did a bad job because they're crooked.
Exactly. But you know what? As long as the wound's closed, it's fine. So we're at their stitching circle. They're all hanging out upstairs in the tower. And
with a special guest today.
Yeah, with their special guest, who is Princess Marcella.
Ooh.
Who's lovely and beautiful and fair and all sorts of sweet and stuff. And Sansa's apparently the same way, but she's a manipulative bitch about it, as we were just talking about. And the Septa is, like, fawning over the fact that there's a princess for her to teach. I think it's weird in here that it's not often that the Septa is privileged to instruct a royal princess in womanly arts. Like, well, whenever does she get to instruct royalty is my thought, but I mean, at the same time, like, you know, we don't know her backstory. We don't know if she ever was in King's Landing or some shit.
Well, does she say the Septa or a Septa?
I think they're just talking about this Septa herself.
Okay.
Yeah, like they say her name. Yeah, Septa Mordain.
Well, I know that that's who it is, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's the
when
Septa.
when they're just okay. Is it the Septa?
It is. Yeah, it was not often that the Septa was privileged to instruct the royals. So we don't know. I mean, we don't know her.
I mean,
she might have done it once.
She could have been at King's Landing or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Exactly. So they're doing this, and then Arya just kind of is like, "Well, fuck this shit," puts it down, and is starting to try to like eavesdrop on her sister's conversation with her friends, Beth Cassell, and who's Sir Roderick's daughter, and Jane Poole. Jane Poole. Who are both bitches, as far as I'm concerned. We're gonna get like
poor Jane.
They're
girls.
the popular girls.
No,
and Arya's the little.
They're the plastics.
Yeah,
mean
but
girls.
the things that happen to Jane later will make you very sad for Jane.
Oh, well, you know what? With
Nobody
her being a bitch
deserves
to Arya right now,
that.
she kind of gets it.
Nobody deserves that.
I will hold my judgment for when that happens.
Okay, then.
Well, the feminists are gonna kill you.
Feminists can bite me. If my tits get me someplace, my tits will get me
Show
someplace.
me your tits. I'll bite them.
How? And there the tits come out for the second time today. All right, so she's sitting there, she's talking to her sister, asking her questions about, like, who are they talking about. They end up that they were talking about Prince Joffrey, of course, because Sansa got to... Yeah, right? He's so dreamy, oh my god.
Oh my god.
So Sansa's talking about Joffrey because, of course, they weren't talking about Tommen because Arya was the one that had to hang out with Tommen, who's the fat, little, plump one, and not the tall, handsome, gorgeous one.
It's literally a bunch of girls sitting around looking at a Tiger Beat magazine and talking about what the fuck's going on with the hot boys.
What's Tiger Beat magazine?
That was that was like the teeny bopper people magazine of the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I was too young for that shit.
I mean, I did read 17 before I turned 17, and then they got rid of 17 magazine or whatever.
I read 17.
So like your Zachary Ty Bryans and your Jonathan Taylor Thomases were all in there.
And your Jesse McCartney's.
Your Jesse McCartney's.
I think at my age it was Chad Michael Murray.
He would be in those two. My favorite one is Jesse McCartney, who's like pulling his shirt collar down really far in that beautiful greenish shirt.
Your Donnie Wahlbergs.
Ooh,
none of those names ring a bell.
You're going too far back for her.
Not an NOKTB fan, huh?
No. Not a what?
Her mom was too strict with that.
NOKTB, New Kids on the Block.
Sure.
No, it's a band.
Yeah, I know that. That's all I know.
Loosely called a band.
It's a boy band.
Let's call them a group.
It's a boy musical group. All right. Anyway, off track here.
Justin Timberlake.
I know that.
There you go. Justin Timberlake would have been in those magazines.
Okay. JT.
I did in the movie he was in, Time something or other.
In Time.
In Time, yes.
Yeah. I don't remember
Amanda
that movie.
Seyfried.
I never saw it. But yeah, so they're there, and Arya is like getting kind of flustered with Sansa because she hates that her sister's such a girly girl, blah blah blah. And Jon gets brought up somehow, and that he's too jealous because he's a bastard or whatever. And Arya freaks out.
Fuck Sansa.
Yeah, fuck Sansa. I agree. Fuck Sansa. But Arya gets really mad and blurts out really loudly, as it says, like Arya said much too loudly, that he is their brother. And that gets Septa Mordane's attention, who Arya promptly blames that, even though Arya's the one that yelled just now, promptly blames it on Sansa that the Septa's attention was brought over to them.
Well, that's what children do. It's somebody else's fault.
That's one of and Arya's at that age where nothing's her fault right now, unfortunately, which is a terrible age.
Well, I think she's right in the fact that, I mean, she wouldn't have had to yell out, "He's our brother," if Sansa weren't such an evil, cruel little bitch.
She was
talking about, he's our half-brother. He's a bastard.
I think that's part of where she's manipulative, though, because Arya's blaming Sansa for
the
Septa being brought over and the Septa's attention being brought.
Rightly Sansa's fault.
Because she's prodding her a little bit.
It's rightly Sansa's fault.
She knows exactly what's going to piss her off.
But it's still Arya's fault for yelling. Yeah. She just couldn't control herself. She lost her anger there. But so the Septa comes over, they start complaining about her work or whatever, and it's mentioned a little bit early in the chapter that Arya has the hands of a blacksmith. Arya doesn't want to deal with this stitching shit anymore, so starts running away, and then of course is gonna embarrass the family, so she has to ask Princess Marcella for, by your leave.
Deep bow.
Yeah, deep bow, fuck you guys, bowing's an interesting thing in many cultures, because if you do it too deep or too shallow, it can be insulting, and that's what's going on.
Just right.
Yeah, you have to do it the right way. The only people that don't get too deep are I think Japanese people is the deeper you bow, the more respectful it technically is. Mm-hmm. But other cultures, if you go too deep, then you're being disrespectful.
Yeah.
You're over exaggerating.
It's like people who don't burp. for certain cultures.
Yes, or people who like finish all the food on their plate. You're supposed to leave a little food left over, otherwise it's considered rude that the host didn't give you enough food. Yeah. And then there's other places where if you don't finish the food, then it's considered that you didn't like the food. Like, it's fucking...
And then there's other places where you take a bite and they come over and refill your entire plate after you've taken a bite.
Yep. Oh, those are just Italians and Greeks. They're fine. You know, that's just... They like to make people fat. So Sansa is just sitting there being, you know, the bitchy bitch that she is, and like, look how pretty I am, and look how perfect my stitches are, and they start, like, you know, complimenting her stitches, and then they demand to see Arya's work, who gets pissed off, and then she runs away.
After she says she has to go shoe a horse.
Yes, and she tells the Septa, like, I have to go shoe a horse, and she says it so sweetly, though, because she's trying to be a good girl right now, even though she's being a sassy bitch. Love her for it. And then she goes out, she gets her wolf, Nymeria, who they also were mad at her for naming Nymeria because it's a Rhoynar princess or a Rhoynar queen that she named her and fled from Westeros and went across the Narrow Sea.
No, who invaded Westeros? Oh, she invaded Dorne.
Oh, well, all right. So she invaded. So it was a controversy that she named her after a Rhoynar queen. Either way, and then of course it's so perfect that Sansa is named Lady because she's a lady. So how proper of her.
She won't be around long.
Yeah, thank God. So
spoilers.
Spoiler alert. So she goes through. She finds she goes to the courtyard area where they're practicing, and she sits next to Jon, who's not allowed to be practicing with them because the princes are there, and a bastard cannot give bruises to a prince, otherwise he'll probably lose his head.
Most likely.
Yeah. Especially if Joffrey's the little bastard that's doing it.
No, Joffrey's not the bastard, even though he is the bastard, but he's not.
No, Joffrey's the...
He's the little bastard that would make Jon lose his head.
Right.
Yeah.
He is also a bastard.
But he's
just not that bastard yet.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know that yet.
Right.
Yeah, you know, we'll get there. Spoiler alert. So, she's sitting there, she's talking to Jon for a while as they're both standing there, like, you know... And, like, a way they're sort of critiquing that these guys suck because it's Bran and Tommen just sucks because he's a fat little kid that doesn't have any balance or coordination, and
he's covering padding.
And Arya's just complaining about the fact that she's better than Bran, and Bran's a couple years younger than she is. And then Jon's like, yeah, but you're a fucking twig, so good chance trying to lift a longsword even. And then they get into, like, you know, the politics of being a woman or a bastard in Westeros for a little bit here, and having coats of arms and things like that. The women can have arms without the swords, but bastards can't have swords without the arms.
Yeah, they note specifically how Joffrey has decided to put both the Lannister lion and the Baratheon stag
on
his coat.
Which is bullshit.
Yep. Because as Jon says, his father's house is not enough. He has to put his mother's house right there, too.
Yep.
Which I think is also kind of a thing... I feel like in the books that's a bit of a foreshadowing type of event too, that he's making himself out not just to be a Baratheon.
He's a lion.
He's a
Lannister.
He's a Lannister too.
Well, it's a point I brought up in previous episodes.
And he's only a Lannister.
Yeah, he is only a Lannister.
He's Baratheon by name.
Newsflash.
That's it.
Yep, by name.
By fake name. So they start talking about that, and then we get into Joffrey being a total cunt. And being so sassy and having big talk, and then leaving and walking away and leaving Robb with a set of blue balls for fighting. Some fighting balls, blue balls. And then it goes back to, you know, them saying nothing's fair and life's not fair for, you know, bastards and daughters. And then, yeah, that's what we got.
And then Arya goes to her room to find not only Septa Mordain waiting for her, but her mother as well.
Because her mom's a bitch. Well, Arya's mom's a bitch, a big fat bitch, the biggest bitch in the whole wide world.
Catelyn Tully. Waiting to lay down the law.
I was wondering how long it would take you to do something like that.
What?
That song.
The Kyle's mom's a bitch, but only it's Arya's mom's a bitch. Arya's mom's a bitch.
No, I was stuck in my head while I'm trying to sleep later. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Watch South Park, people. It's hilarious. All right, so...
Snooki wants smush smush.
Oh, God. That's a bowling joke.
Y'all need towel. I fucking love Towley.
Okay.
But yeah, so as you're talking about right before the synopsis, Sansa's super manipulative in this chapter. She can make herself blush. She can control her, like, she could probably make herself cry if she wanted to. I would assume
I think
too.
she does at some point.
Yeah,
be
she's
surprised.
learned, as every woman does as they grow up, how to manipulate people.
They have to learn how to manipulate the man. 'cause
I
they've got no
cannot
power
make
themselves.
myself cry on command.
Oh, I can.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I can.
I cannot. I have tried. I cannot.
I made my mom so angry because I started crying at Walmart because she wouldn't let me keep the shoebox. I got a pair of shoes. I
All
started.
the fucking things.
I started crying.
How old were
right?
you? 6?
No, I was
25.
no. It wasn't last year. I was like 16 or 17, probably.
Almost just as bad.
I was in high
It's just
school.
as bad.
Almost just as bad.
I was in high school, and she was like, I got my shoebox. I wanted my shoebox with the shoes inside of it, and then the lady's like, do you want the box? And I was, no, you can throw it away. And I just sit there staring at her, and she just looks at me for no reason, and there's just tears rolling down my face. She goes, what the fuck, Stephanie? Seriously? Over a shoebox? And she goes, I am never gonna believe you ever fucking again.
You gotta take your name out of there. You put your name in there.
That's right, they can know my name. Maybe. I don't know. Did I
No.
say that up?
I don't care.
I don't care
It's
either.
up to you.
Yeah.
We have stage names.
We're not going to
for a
have stage
reason.
names in our Stephen King podcast, so.
Yeah.
Well, then that's fine. Do it for that one, but we have stage names here for a reason.
Alright, fine. So, if you want to edit that out. We're standing in Walmart.
No, I'm going to leave it.
Alright, good. I'm right with it.
But anyway, so yes.
So, yeah, so she's...
Sansa, manipulative bitch.
Yep.
And useless.
Yep. And Arya's a whiny little pain in the ass right now, for the most part. I mean, she's 9.
She's 9.
She's 9. She's allowed to be a whiny pain in
9-year-olds
the
are
ass.
whiny pain in the ass.
Yeah, because
She's downtrodden.
Yeah.
She's
She's
what?
the underdog.
She's downtrodden. She's a chimney sweep, a little street urchin from
And she doesn't look like any of her siblings.
No,
from Oliver Twist. I mean,
that's not true. She looks like John. She doesn't look like any
She
of her
doesn't look like
true-born
any of the
siblings.
Tully children.
Yeah.
Split hairs with me. Why don't you?
I am.
You know exactly what I meant.
We covered this last time. We like to split hairs and find loopholes.
You know exactly what I meant. I'm pretty sure our listeners do too.
okay. Anyway,
You know.
Love you.
Love you too.
so who's got things, themes, ideas that they want to discuss?
I do, about the word gallant, when Sansa describes Joffrey as gallant.
In other words, she has no idea what she's talking
She
about.
has to use big words.
Yeah, I think she's trying to use a big word here. So I, of course, being nerd, who also had to go and find out how much a stone was, pulled up the dictionary definitions of...
Nerd alert.
Yep.
Nerd alert.
So, pull up the dictionary definitions. So, it's both an adjective and a noun, the word itself, first of all. Gallant.
Not a verb. You can't gallant.
You cannot gallant. You can gallantly as an adverb.
God damn it.
You can adverb it.
You're
You
an
can't-
English
it's not a
major.
verb.
You should know this shit.
Oh, I do, but I just think it'd be cool if there was a verb gallant. I mean, we turned
Yeah.
That just sounds
we turned
wrong.
adult into a verb.
We did. We did turn adulting into a verb. We also turned being a passenger into a verb, passengering. When you're passengering in a car and the passenger has
I've
to
never
do stuff.
heard
I
that.
have never heard passengering.
Oh, yeah, no, we do. Yeah. Ask people. Passengering is a verb now.
Well, nobody I've ever asked.
Nobody-
so
yeah,
who should I
I've ever
ask?
asked.
I don't know. Ask people that I know. People that I know are good at that.
Ask me. I don't know.
Right. I know several people that you know who have never mentioned passengering.
That's because it's usually mentioned in a car.
No.
You don't leave your house very
I've
often.
always said being a passenger.
I leave my house every day.
Yeah. I'm here every day.
I leave my house every day.
I don't see you ever leaving your house every day.
You live in another fucking town.
I know.
So
I don't.
if you saw me leaving my house every day, it'd be a little creepy.
Can I say
Well, then
something?
he was talking to you.
Again, like I said, it'd be a little creepy.
You don't see me leaving here, but that doesn't mean I don't leave here every day.
Yeah, but I know that you live someplace else when I go to your house. While you're there. And
Like
while
I
you're not
said,
there.
we're splitting hairs.
While we're not there. Anyway, so, as we were talking about before...
So gallant.
Yeah. So, he, the first adjective for it is brave and heroic. And we know that that's...
bullshit.
He's a little
Yeah,
pussy.
we know that that's not gonna be super big.
So
and
definition one's bullshit. Okay.
The people who have never, who have not read past this part, or people who've never seen the show, would know that that is a total bullshit thing right there. They might actually believe it if they've never seen anything or read anything before. But then the other adjective is gives special attention to women, in parentheses, a flirt.
I don't even think he's that.
I don't think he's that either.
No.
But the second, this also just shows that Sansa's being, fucking stupid and doesn't know how to use words.
She doesn't know how to word.
Yeah, it's a verb. Words. Wordsing is a verb. So, and the noun specifically has gallant as solely a person who pays special attention to women is in flirting. So he's flirting with her because he's telling her she's so beautiful and stuff like that, and that's the only form of gallant that we can...
Yeah, probably because he's like, I don't want to talk to her, and his dad backhanded him.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's probably the only reason he's doing it.
That's why he's flirting with her.
Right.
Well, I mean, he also thinks she's pretty, but I mean, it's also one of those things where he's like, she's a Stark. He tells her...
Well, I know what he tells her, but like I said, he probably told his dad, like, I don't even want to fucking talk to her, creepy bitch. And his dad was like, you'll do what I say.
That's your fucking betrothed, bitch.
Know.
That's your betrothed, you bitch son of mine.
But I don't get the feeling from Joffrey that he gives two shits about women in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, he doesn't. But he's got to play it up. He's being a flirt with her because he has to, I would imagine. Because he's going to be marrying her.
Got to be the prince.
He doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself.
Yes. So, and then he's
and his mom.
Squat. And his mom's a bitch. He'd probably sleep with his mom, too, if she gave him a chance.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask, how would you feel if you were 11 years old and you were told that one day you were going to be the queen of all the realm? Wouldn't you act like a little bitch, too?
I think at 11 years old, I probably wouldn't care. Or I'd be more along the lines of, like, being, like, the Mad King. And, like, I mean, for me being an 11-year-old, if we're talking about me being an 11-year-old, I wanted to sterilize the human population.
She'd be walking around naked, beheading people all the time.
Okay, I need to find somebody, another female to
tell me what's up. Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong.
You need to find another female to ask that question to, because I'm not that female. I'd be like, listen, let's fuck and behead that guy over there at the same time.
At 11 years old?
Oh, what, I have a husband? I can't have sex with the knights? No, fuck you.
Did you see what Lizzie and I used to write to each other when we were writing, like, short stories back and forth to each other in 6th grade?
Wait, your sex stories?
No, they weren't sex stories at that age. That didn't come until, like, 8th grade.
I have no idea.
It was all about, like, beating the shit out of people.
Oh my god, yes, I caught a couple of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mom caught up.
We were not nice 11-year-olds. Not nice 11-year-olds.
Well, considering the most they ever did
and
was...
now you combine the beating up with the sex, and you've got great stories.
Exactly, yeah, and you got George R. R. Martin level shit. But not quite as well written.
The worst they did was slam a kid's arm in the door because he was harassing his sister. So.
No. He slammed her arm in the door, and then I punched him in the face afterward and ripped his lip in half.
I thought she slammed his arm.
No.
Okay,
She was trying to get into the building, and he slammed her wrist into a door.
Okay, bring it back this way.
Okay, hi, how's it going over there?
Okay, so... Let's get into the story that we're here to talk about, not stories from 6th grade.
That was 11th grade.
11, whatever. I don't care.
Just a couple years apart.
I'm sorry, Maester.
So, and then more of Sansa's manipulation shit too is when Beth is talking about how she'll be like the queen of all the land or whatever. And then Sansa is very telling her, like, don't tell stories, and very gently strokes her hair to kind of make it seem like she's being less of a bitch. Like, I'm going to be a total cunt to you right now, but I'm, like, petting your hair really gently, so that makes me not a bitch right now.
She's
just
definitely
saying.
a plastic.
Yeah. She's
pink.
What the fuck was the name of the main one in the plastics? I don't know.
All I know is her mother had fake boobs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the main character, I can't remember her name. It's been years since I've seen that movie, but she's the main plastic in that movie. That's Sansa.
I know the redhead was
about as smart too.
I know the redhead was Gretchen. That's all.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mean Girls.
Okay, I know that exists.
With
Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan.
The only thing I've ever really seen her in is Freaky Friday.
That was a good movie too. Not quite as bitchy though. But yeah, so that whole thing happens.
Well,
and
that and her drug rehab pictures. That's it.
She went nuts. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they all kind of go nuts. Britney Spears, circa 2007, went kind of fucking nuts too.
Well, that's because Madonna sexually assaulted her on stage.
Well, yeah, that shit
happens. I didn't know that.
Back to Arya and Sansa and Beth.
Giselle.
You were saying.
Oh, I already said that she's a manipulative bitch and she was stroking your hair and stuff.
Okay. And then Arya has to chime in like the little 9-year-old she is and insult Joffrey and says, Jon says he looks like a girl.
Which is fantastic.
I mean, he does probably look like a girl.
He probably does. He's got long blonde hair.
He's well manicured. He's never had to do a hard day of labor in his life. Like probably some of the Stark children have been like, I feel like Ned would make them do some hard labor, so they have to respect the people who work below them kind of thing and know what those people have gone through.
Oh,
they don't
Arya,
have to do it.
Arya probably does know how to shoe a horse.
I wouldn't be... Yeah, she probably does know how to shoe a horse. And then
Sansa has to take a jab at her and say, oh, poor Jon, he's just a bastard.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Sansa.
Yeah, so we quickly learn. So we know that from previous chapters that
Sansa's bitch.
well, both we don't. We just
really
got
don't
that
know.
here, but we know that Robb and Bran both like Jon.
Yes.
And both treat him basically as a brother.
Yep.
We know that Theon just
Theon's
could care less about him.
Yeah,
because he's a bastard.
Yeah,
he's a bastard. Whatever, you know.
He's
We
only
don't
trying to
really
chum
know
up
about Rickon because he's not old enough to talk yet.
He's 3.
But then we learn. then we learn in this chapter that Arya is very much a big Jon fan, and Sansa is like, he's icky bastard type of.
She doesn't want his bastard to rub off on her.
She's racist, if that could be the term.
She's bastardist.
Yeah, bastardist.
Yep, she's a bastardist. So her beloved betrothed. Oh, if only she knew.
Oh.
If only she knew.
Maybe one day she will.
Maybe eventually she will know.
I don't even know if in the TV show she knows.
I mean, no, in the TV show she finds out.
Gets it.
I think in the TV show she doesn't believe it, but she knows in the TV show.
Does she?
Yeah, because that's the reason why her father was beheaded. So in the TV show,
they could have been.
She said no. In the TV show, she was defending Ned, saying that the Maester was giving him milk of the poppy, and that's the only reason why he said that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So she knows, she's been given that information, but she doesn't know if it's. Yeah, she's not going one way or the other with it.
Right. So,
but she's also trying to not die.
Right.
So not a Jon fan is Sansa, which is fine because not a Sansa fan is anybody else.
It's true, except for a couple people in my field. I've met a couple dogs who are named Sansa in different places,
and they're all bitches that die, right?
No, unfortunately.
I mean, if you're gonna name your dog Sophie instead of Sansa, that's fine.
I don't know.
Sophie's an older name.
I can't.
Sophie's.
We have a lot of Sophies and Sophias, though. We do have a lot of Sophie and Sophias, but yeah, we have a lot of Sansas. I've only seen one Nymeria.
That's sad.
Yeah, I've only seen one Nymeria. I've seen a shit ton of ghosts.
I'm sure.
Yeah, shit ton of ghosts, shit ton of I've only seen one Grey Wind, actually. I was shocked when I saw Grey Wind. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good name.
Now, how many Shaggy dogs?
None.
Oh, poor Rickon.
There's a lot of Shaggy, but it has nothing to do with this.
It has to do with Scooby-Doo.
No, it has to do with the fact that the dog's just a mutt, and
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just they're remarking on the fact that his fur is shaggy, like how.
Okay, so let's bring it back in again.
So poor Rickon.
Fuck Rickon.
He's a child.
Fuck Rickon.
Septim Ordain is now in the conversation because Arya has lost her temper.
Got to input her 2 cents.
Because Sansa went and prodded the tiny bear cub that she is.
Yeah.
So Septim Ordain's favorite pastime seems to be arguing with a 9-year-old.
Who doesn't have that as a pastime? I love arguing with 9-year-olds. They're hilarious.
These days I don't.
They're hilarious.
So I'm not a big Septim Ordain fan. She just seems like a bitch.
She's of the faith.
Well, not just that, but she just seems like a bitch.
She's a Sansa fan. She's if you're not a proper lady, I don't like you kind of bitch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
because she's helping raise proper ladies.
Yeah.
And Arya's just too much to handle.
Septim Ordain's the exact opposite of what feminists want. She does not want Septim does not want equality between men and women. She wants women to do
she's all
women
about
jobs.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, she's all about patriarchy. She's subservient to the man type, and she wants women to do their women jobs and only their women jobs.
Like I said, she's a woman of faith.
No, not all women of faith are like that. A lot of women of faith. A lot of women of faith in my family all have jobs and aren't subservient to their husbands.
She sounds very conservative.
She is super conservative. She's just a bitch, though.
She's a Catholic.
She's a good old homeschooled Catholic.
Okay, so they're talking about their half-brother, Arya and I remarking on how pleased we were to have the princess with us today. Change of subject. I don't want to get in trouble for causing the 9-year-old to have a meltdown. So let's put the attention back on the little princess.
Yep.
And then let's bring the attention right off the princess and put it onto Arya's terrible stitching.
Yep.
Because I'm an asshole.
Because Arya's discarded her stitching.
Sansa, I know that your stitches are beautiful, and Arya, I know your stitches suck, but Arya, let me see your stitch work, please.
Yeah.
I know your stitches always suck, but let me see your stitch work right now.
Well, because she wasn't holding it, she discarded it to try and talk.
Yeah, because she sucks at it. She doesn't want to do it. I don't blame her.
I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to do it either.
She's the elephant that they're trying to force to climb a tree and then telling her she's retarded because she can't climb a tree.
Yeah, no, if I wanted to poke myself
and then she's the elephant that's like, let me just knock the tree down.
Yeah, no, if I wanted to poke myself with needles, I would either A, get another tattoo, or be claimed that I'm diabetic.
Or you could just do my job and stab yourself with needles accidentally all the time. I stabbed myself with an FELV positive needle the other day. It's fine.
Are you on meds for that?
I can't get feline leukemia, so...
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, FELV is feline leukemia.
Are you sure?
There was an article about cats that can give feline immunodeficiency virus to people, which is feline AIDS. And then there was found out that that's the exact opposite, and the guy lost his license and stuff.
Okay.
You know, because it was totally made up.
That's not...
Yeah, but there's a good chance I'm not going to get it. Good chance.
That's good.
Yeah. That's why they tell us
This is why I will never, ever, ever work in the medical field.
This is why he doesn't leave his house.
I do leave my house. You said earlier I leave my house.
Thank you for
correction. This is why he works from home.
I go bowling twice a week. I go to the store. I do laundry.
He goes for walks.
I go for walks if it's not 18 degrees outside.
Fuck that shit.
Fucking Christ.
Jesus Christ, fuck that shit.
Okay, let's bring it back in again.
Yeah, we're just like a herd of cats today. We're a herd of cats today.
Well, there's not... the whole first part of this chapter is kind of boring.
It is.
Yeah.
This whole chapter is relative.
Which is kind of fun.
Boring.
It's women doing cross-stitch,
Yep.
which
And,
I could give two shits less
Sansa's
about.
If I cross-stitch a thing for you that said fuck all of you, would you put it up somewhere?
Okay, so let's just make it really brief. All right.
But then we gotta get to the... There is some cool stuff, because then we get to Jon and Arya.
Yeah.
And the princes beating the shit out of each other and stuff, which is kind of fun.
So they piss off the 9-year-old some more.
So she leaves.
So
Yep.
Basically, she walks out.
She
She's
leaves,
like, fuck you,
but
fuck you, fuck you. You're not cool. Fuck you.
love
I'm out.
The fact that she gives one final fuck you and says, I have to go shoe a horse. She says sweetly, taking a brief satisfaction in the shock on the Septa's face.
Yes.
Because Septa probably thought she wasn't being heard when she said that she's got the hands of a blacksmith. Because adults think they're quiet and adults are not quiet.
That was the perfect
Me being an
comeback.
adult and having been a child, I know that I'm not quiet, and I know that other adults are not
Because
quiet.
people fail to realize that whispers carry.
Yes.
You never, if you want to keep something quiet, you never whisper it. You do low tone.
Yes, I know. I
You
learned that the
don't
hard
whisper.
way in high school.
Whispers carry.
It's because you're using the same amount of air force, but yeah, when you whisper, you're more or less using the same amount of air force, and you're just like the air's carrying it.
Yeah.
It goes.
But
Yeah, I learned that the hard way in high school. They had to split me and my best friend up in English class because the class heard some.
Oh, so you were Sansa when you were in that class. I see.
oh, Joffrey.
Oh God! I want to Joffrey's brains out. Yay! I'm gonna have his little babies.
No, it was worse than that. We'll just leave it at that.
God damn. This is why your sister and I passed notes in class.
Her and her
We
best
didn't
friend
say
were
words.
planning a threesome.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh, with the hound.
Oh, God.
And his burned face.
I heard he's got a giant dick, man.
The guy I was dating at the time had scars across half his face.
Really?
Birthmarks. We called him Scarface.
Oh.
It's so mean.
I remember his name now. I remembered his name.
Okay, anyway, so Arya leaves, goes and gets Nymeria, heads out to the wall above the training yard, and runs into Jon Snow. More Jon Snow!
Fuck yeah, Jon Snow!
Who is watching Bran beat the piss out of Tommen while they're both wearing so much padding that they look like snowmen.
No,
They remind me of
Violet Beauregard and Willy Wonka.
I was thinking more like A Christmas Story, the little brother who's got his arm straight out and he falls on his back and he can't get up.
I imagine Violet Beauregard from Willy Wonka.
Oh, she's a
Not
blueberry?
as blue, yeah.
It's warm and it's creamy and it's
Violet, you're
running
turning
down my throat.
Violet.
Yeah, that is so fucking
Schnozberry.
dirty. Don't say that again.
That's what she says.
That is what she says. Schnozberry. Who's ever heard of a schnozberry?
It literally makes me gag every time
when she
I
eats the
hear
blueberry thing,
that.
she's like, it's warm and it's creamy and it's running down my throat.
I literally gag every time I see that.
Well, she's chewing on that magical stuff. That's like a whole Thanksgiving turkey dinner or whatever. Gotta love that gravy.
It's a 3-course dinner. Yes.
Gotta love that gravy, girl.
5-course dinner.
5-course dinner. They have an issue once they get to dessert.
Dessert. They have a
This
problem.
is always the problem.
They have a problem with dessert. Always dessert.
Always dessert.
Yes.
Well, shit happens when you can't keep your shit together.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I just can't keep all 5 courses down after listening to that.
Anyway, so Arya asked Jon why he's not down in the yard practicing with the boys. So we do learn that Jon is able to, on a regular basis, train with Robb and Bran and Sir Roderick
Yes.
to become a sword fighter.
Yep.
But he's not allowed to this time because any bruises that the young princes take must come from true-born swords.
Yes.
Because neither of the princes are true-born.
Irony.
Yep, irony. Irony Singleton.
Yeah.
He played T-Dog on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like that it's irony and they're using iron to beat each other with.
Steel.
Steel.
I know.
Listen, Linda.
The iron price is still bought with steel.
Listen, Linda.
Linda, you're not listening. Honey, you're not listening.
But, so, Jon, so Sansa or Arya feels bad for Jon because he can't be down there.
Because he's a bastard.
She says, look how fucking awful Bran is. Like, I could go down there and beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
Even though,
Well, I mean, she's also 2 years older than him because Bran's
right.
7.
But she's also not allowed to.
Yeah, she's not allowed to because she's a girl.
And I'm pretty sure Septa Mordane would have a heart attack if she ever saw Arya playing around with swords.
Except she can
that
shoot
wouldn't be
a
the
bow and
worst thing
arrow.
ever.
Well, yeah, but she does that in secret.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Just like your dancing class.
That's the one thing that we forgot to mention, the things that Arya can do better than Sansa, which is literally mostly just managing a household. No, managing a household and riding a horse. And they used to call her Arya Horseface.
Yes.
Yep.
I forgot those 2 bits. But that's,
Yep, so she picked up the horse riding from Aunt Lyanna.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And from Jon Snow, who is supposedly the best horse rider of all the children in the castle.
Yep. Probably because he tries to get the fuck away from them by, going for a ride every once in a while to clear his head.
Going into the God's Wood.
Yep.
Or to run Theon off the road.
Are horses,
Yeah,
are horses not allowed in the God's Wood?
I don't think I don't think it's big enough. I mean, it's like it's a walled in area.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so it's outside the
Yeah, it's not like a giant wood. I mean, you're probably talking.
It's like that tree. It's like a small
It's inside
park
the
yard
yeah.
thing.
It's inside the full castle
Yeah.
walls. So
I mean, I'm sure a horse could probably go in there. Like, I don't think they would care, but they probably just wouldn't want it in there because they wouldn't want it sucking shit.
yeah.
So, or they wouldn't want it drinking the black water. I can't imagine the black water is good for a horse or a person.
You never know.
I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe it's got strange magical powers.
Maybe that's why they don't want the horse drinking it.
Alright, so they're looking for Prince Joffrey, and he's standing in the back of the field, or whatever.
With a bunch of
he's
Lannister
hanging out
men.
in the shade.
Yeah.
With the Lannister men.
Yeah, his Lannister complexion doesn't want to burn.
Because they're going to laugh at whatever he says anyways, because he's...
Right, because he's the prince.
the king. It's
he's
the whole...
the prince.
It's good to be the prince.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, they have to kiss his ass.
I can just see him singing Lion King. Just can't wait to be king.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
What a fucking twat.
It's like the episode of, I don't know if either of you have seen Scrubs, but in one episode of Scrubs, they explain that someone always kisses the person's ass above them, so they show the line of joking.
Yeah.
And the person below them always laughs at terrible jokes of
Right.
the person above them, and then it just goes down the line until a homeless guy makes a dog bark and laugh at a pun, and the janitor tells JD, see, it's that you're not funny, people are just trying to kiss your ass. So, and then he's just like, that dog just laughed at a pun.
And that's the political explanation for the day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure is.
That's how the world works.
Yes, it is.
Always has, always will.
No one's funny. We just all think we are.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I'm hilarious, though.
after Tommen and Bran are done, Joffrey says he wants to fight Robb again.
Yes, and they're...
But he doesn't
back
want to
forth.
use pansy wooden
swords.
stuff.
Yeah.
He wants to go live steel.
And Rob's like, done, take it, I'm going.
Yes.
We did not.
Sorry about that,
we did not discuss the armor or the.
We can get there. Well, I mean, we kind of did a little bit before.
We already mentioned that he wears the Lannister lion and the...
And the thing,
Oh,
we
okay.
mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we didn't do that in order.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we already. I mean, there's not too much to discuss with it. It's just
the part we didn't mention though is that because this chapter started with the needlework, that Arya's like, even though she's a mile away and she can't actually see it like up close, she's like, it probably has fantastic needlework because she's got to remark about the fact that she sucks at it.
I do like her remark about where Jon said, perhaps you should do the same thing, little sister, weds Tully and Stark in your arms. And she goes, a wolf with a fish in its mouth?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
I love it.
Well, I mean, theoretically, if Joffrey and Sansa got married, it could be a wolf or a wolf with a stag antler in its neck.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, foreboding.
But I'm just...
That'd be horrible.
Well, you know.
Well, you know, that's
shit happens.
As a flayed man.
That's true, too.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Flayed man always tells the truth.
Supposedly.
I don't. Torture doesn't work that well, because they'll just tell you whatever they want and make it stop.
And then you eat sausages at the end of the night.
Yes.
Well, yeah. But anyway, so Sir Roderick will have nothing of
he won't
Robb and Joffrey fighting with live steel.
He
says, at best, I will give you tourney swords.
Yeah. Roderick's like, I'm not going to explain this shit to your fucking parents, so no.
And then the dog, the hound, steps forward and yells at Sir Roderick, who are you to tell the prince what he can and can't do? And Sir Roderick looks at him and says, you know what? I'm a fucking adult A, and I'm the master of arms here at Winterfell. If you got a problem with it, shut the fuck up.
Yep.
I'm not gonna have the prince stabbing Robb with a real knife.
Well, it's not that. That's not how it would work. Robb would probably kill Joffrey.
Yeah. So
end of story.
And then there starts the war.
Right, there starts the
Robb
war.
says, I'm not going to fight the kid, and then the kid swings at him, and that's going to start a war.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing good would happen in this to having live steel.
Yeah, nothing good comes
drums in his forehead
from the fucking Lannisters being around the Starks.
But as Sir Roderick is sitting there talking to Clegane about how, like, I'm the master at arms here, blah, 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 Clegane's just sitting there probably staring at him, thinking of little chicken drums in his forehead.
Yeah. He's like, I killed a boy at 12.
He wants a fucking chicken.
Yeah.
So you should be able to have a sword.
The Hound
14.
killed somebody at 12.
Yes, because the Hound's kind of fucked up.
And so basically we get Joffrey making fun of Robb and Sir Roderick and the Starks. And
saying that they're all pussies because they didn't kill somebody at 12.
Taking the Lannister men and leaving.
I would like to put out there that I feel that Joffrey, with the way that he acts in this chapter, would have turned out like Viserys. In a way, like how Viserys is always holding on to his... Yeah, no. How Viserys is always holding on to the hilt of his sword because he's ready to fucking kill anybody at any minute, but like he wouldn't know how. Yeah, and he would.
That's like when Arya gets the best of him at the Trident.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So and so it's like that whole thing where he's just like he's sitting there, he's ready to fucking go the entire time, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitches. But then it like happens, and he's like, oh god, I can't, I don't know what to do.
When Renly's making fun of him, you mean a little girl disarmed you?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
I mean, in the TV show, it's his dad, Robert Baratheon, making fun of him, but in the book, in the book, it's Renly making fun of him for letting a little girl disarm him and throw his sword in the river.
Exactly. So and that's why like even it's just in this book this small portion here where he's talking this huge game and everything, and then he turns around and walks the fuck away.
Yep.
That's him. That's like that to me. Like that's just like a little mini Viserys.
Oh yeah.
Viserys is just sitting there talking this big game like I could kill all you motherfuckers, and then as soon as someone draws a sword on him, he's like, oh god, I'm sorry. Please
imagine that the two crown princes are the two douchiest, pussiest characters in the books.
Oh,
doesn't shock me at all.
No, not at all.
Jesus.
Nope.
Jesus.
And they both die.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen the fucking shows, then
spoiler alert. Hey, there are people who are dead in the show who are alive in the books.
That's true. Yeah, they don't.
And there are people who are dead in the books who are alive in the show.
I'm pretty sure they both die in the books.
You sure?
I know Joffrey dies for sure.
Okay.
And Viserys, I know he dies.
Do you?
I actually did read that part of the book.
Okay.
I read the first book twice
because I have come.
I haven't read any of the other books, but I've read the first book twice.
I'm gonna put this out there like for the TV show viewers there too. Early in the TV show, I came to the conclusion if there's no body, it didn't happen.
There's no body, there ain't nobody dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone's like, oh, the Hound's dead or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Spoiler alert, the Hound's dead, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, he's not. And they're like, well, what's your proof? I'm like, he doesn't have a dead body.
Well,
that's like the Blackfish.
Books, we don't know for certain. It's assumed that Clegane is probably still alive in the books.
Yeah.
But he might not be.
He might not, but there's no body still, so they could go either way.
There's the Gravedigger theory that the Gravedigger is the Hound, but it's not been confirmed.
They did make him a gravedigger in the last season.
Yes, they did make him digging a grave. Yes.
Yeah. But,
which was a nod to the Gravedigger theory.
Yeah. But I've also come across this in the last TV show that I watched too.
It was also the same season where they had a character on the television show tell us that Jon Snow does not look like Ned Stark, when a dozen characters in the books tell us that Jon Snow looks exactly like Ned Stark. So I don't take the TV show and what they say as gospel for anything, because the TV show also has Tyrion telling us that he charged through the Mudgate to help win the Battle of Blackwater, when in fact three seasons earlier, Tyrion went through the sewers around to attack people from behind the Mudgate.
Yes.
So the TV show has no idea what it's talking about whatsoever. They can't remember the things that they've written, let alone the things that George has written. So I just don't take them seriously as far as canon goes at all.
Yeah. They're not to be used. I mean, they can be used for like reference material for like, well, that happened this way, but I mean, not necessarily.
Yeah, they're useless as far as canon for the books.
It's like using Wikipedia for a legitimate source in a research paper.
People do that.
Shout out to Citation Needed.
Yeah.
One of our favorite podcasts, Citation Needed. Shout out to them. If you don't listen to them, you should. Fantastic show. Nothing about Game of Thrones or anything like that, but
it's hilarious.
If you like people who use Wikipedia as the ultimate source for information on weird topics, give Citation Needed a listen.
Alright, so the chapter ends with the fight breaking up, everyone going on their own merry way, and Arya ending up in her room, and Septa Mordain and her mother are there.
Dun dun dun!
She hates being a lady.
She does.
She does. She's not a lady.
I'm starting to like Arya just from this chapter.
I love Arya.
But I'm just saying, based on without the show or anything like that, just from this chapter, I kind of like Arya's character. Just from this little bit of information, like she don't take shit.
Nope.
She's sassy,
especially from her older siblings, which is great.
Yep.
You know, she's like, "Fuck you." You know, she tells the teacher. In front of the princess to basically go fuck herself. I'm out.
Yep.
I'm gonna go shoe a horse.
Yeah, I mean, just awesome.
This girl has more sass in her 9 years than I had my first 20.
Yeah.
This is also one of the reasons why George's wife loves Arya, and that she made him promise that she had to stay alive until the last book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, she also does the same thing about Littlefinger. That's his wife's favorite character.
Oh, and he's dead.
Well, in the TV
show, he's dead.
In the TV show,
but but no,
I have a hard time keeping him straight.
And he went out like a bitch.
He did. He went out in the worst way possible.
Smartest guy in the fucking show gets outsmarted by two girls
with his own advice.
Yeah, when he's been warning them,
to
do a certain thing that would have protected him the entire time.
Yep. And they're like, "Oh, sure."
It's the worst,
because he didn't think she was smart.
It's the worst writing in the history of the world. And if George does, if he goes out like that in the books, I'm going to be like, okay, so George let somebody else write this chapter.
It might be similar, but it'll be better.
I sincerely hope. Well, it can't even be similar because it's just so out of character for Littlefinger.
That's
to not.
Well, I mean, he lets his guard down around Sansa though because he's in love with her.
Not that bad. Because
he never once thought
where we are in the books right now, he's with her in the Vale.
Yeah.
And yes, he lets his guard down, but never to that extent.
Yeah. Not even when
he's making him do those things is like a betrayal of his character and how smart he actually is.
Maybe he just wanted it out of the show.
That very well could be.
Yeah. They had to do, like, I mean,
or
right out kind of shit.
Or like, or you know, or like his storyline going forward was too complex. They didn't have time for it in the final 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So they just kind of had to shorten it to get him out of there because I assume he's got a lot more machinations to go
more screen
in the
time
books.
for everything else.
Right.
Which is that's also kind of what they did with the sand snakes. They kind of like they had this big story with the sand snakes up until like the end of season 6 or whatever, and then or season 5 or whatever, and then they just kind of like disappeared.
Well, it's because they completely blew the writing of Dorne. I mean, Dorne in the books is so amazing. Dorne in the TV show was stupid, and so when you get to it, the part of Dorne in the books is great.
Yeah,
I mean, great characters, great things happening. It's really interesting because they had the TV show.
Dorne's great because it's warmer.
Why don't you move to Florida?
But yeah, the TV show they had to, they only wanted to do 8 seasons because they had to go make their racist show.
Yep.
So they couldn't, do like 10 seasons. The Double D's, the 2 producers, are the ones who decided that they're only going to do 8 seasons because they want to go make that Confederates show.
Are you fucking
America,
serious?
where the Confederacy won the Civil War. Yeah. Yeah, that's their next project that they decided they wanted to rush through the end of Game of Thrones to get to. Was to go make Confederates.
Maybe they got bored.
They
got bored.
That's probably true. They've been working on it for 8 years. I mean, I get that, but
I hope they regret it.
I mean, every one of them
really
needs, like, most shows end up taking a break at some point. Like, especially, like, sitcom shows, they always take a break after a couple of years, and they make, like, that
Well, this
that
is taking a break.
remembrance
It won't
episode.
come out.
No, I know, but they
season's not coming out till after 20.
But yeah, and they're taking the break. But like most like producers will take a couple breaks or whatever in like sitcom shows, and they'll do like episodes where it's just like the bunch of the characters sitting around somewhere and they're remembering, and then they just do flashbacks of like all that shit before.
A clips episode.
Yeah. Every show has one of those, and you can't do that with Game of Thrones, really.
We should have one.
Every show in Game of Thrones is a clips episode.
Yes. Yes, it
We
is.
should have
But
one.
yeah, so they decided they needed to do 8 seasons because they had to go make Confederates, which I don't understand. I don't think Confederates is the show that we need right now, but...
No,
I
it's
mean,
absolutely not.
I mean, I can just watch the news if I want to watch Racist America.
We promised we promised we wouldn't talk as much political.
Right. Well, and it's kind of... I had to bring up the double Ds, so that's kind of how we got there, but... Yep. Anybody have anything else to talk about in Arya 1?
No, that's it. It was pretty...
I think it's just the one thing about how Theon was actually not being much of a dick and is actually trying to stop Robb from killing himself.
Even he's not dumb enough to realize that that's not a good idea.
Well, Theon's pretty dumb. But even he knows, like, he's more level-headed at this point because he's not the one being insulted and his family's not being insulted.
Right.
So... But, I mean, Theon and Robb's...
He knows it's not a good idea to threaten and insult the crown prince.
Yeah, and I think... I don't know if it mentioned it, but I think Theon and Robb are about the same age, too. Like, I think Theon's a little bit older than Robb and...
Yeah, Robb is the same as Jon. They're about 14.
Yeah.
Theon is 16? 18, 18, 19. 18 or 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so they're not that close in age.
Yeah,
no, they're really not.
Close.
They're a lot closer in the TV show.
Yeah.
Than they are in the books.
I know Theon's older than
But
Robb.
it's still, like, the closest friend that he's got because, I mean, Theon's the upright douchebag that's not going to be friends with the bastard. So the closest thing he's got is
He's
Robb.
too good for that shit, even though he's a hostage.
Exactly.
Right, but he's a true-born hostage.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. He's a hostage.
He's the last.
Fuck you. You're
he's
not
the
at
last
home.
true-born and the heir to the Iron Islands because his 2 older brothers are dead.
Yep, and his sister's... His sister.
Yeah. Osha's
the lesbian.
No, Asha.
Osha's the wildling.
Yes. Which is why they couldn't keep her name Asha
Yara.
in the book.
Which provided every young boy Harry Potter fan their fantasy come true.
Yeah.
When they got to see Nymphadora Tonks naked.
Yep.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I get that, but... Ugh.
Nymphadora's a badass.
And hot.
And she hates being called Nymphadora, so we should probably stop doing that.
Tonks.
Don't call me Nymphadora.
And her hair's all red and fire.
But, so, I guess that'll bring our coverage of Arya to a close. Next time we are going to be discussing Bran 2. So I think we're going to get some wall climbing and some wall falling
And the start of the war.
and some
intense shit.
Some sibling bang and some intense shit, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking some intense shit.
You broke it.
My book broke, though. The binding.
Oh, no.
You ripped out too many pages.
I didn't rip out any pages on this.
Really?
Yeah, it's just cheap. This is just the one page that was, like the blank page that I hated.
You left that in your car and it got cold, didn't you?
So anyway, we will catch you guys next time when we talk about Bran 2.
Bran 2!
You guys have a good time, and we will see you next week.
See you next week, bitches! Pow pow, finger guns.
Bye, guys.